Okay, I think we are live. Hello, world. I'm Chris, aka Mr. Flickster, and this is a very special episode. This year, Jaws celebrates its 50th anniversary. Yeah, that's monumental. Almost as big as the shark in the movie. So, on top of my review, this is also going to be a little bit of a not so much a documentary, but same idea. I'm going to talk about some behind the scenes information. I'm going to have some trivia about some sharks. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm also going to talk about a birthday that happened and the weekend box office from last week. So, let's start the show, shall we? Live from Niagara Falls, it's Mr. Flickster Show on Saturday night. Thank you for clicking on my video. Hello, world. I'm Chris Maitini, aka Mr. Flickster. Mr. Flickster. So, before we get to the main event, I don't want to jump the shark and miss out on current events. So, we had a birthday not that long ago. Hold on, let me share the screen. Here it is. Okay, and in the corner, beautiful. Let's go to IMDb. But Dan Aykroyd had a birthday recently. Oh, I don't know how to spell his name. There it is. Oh, did I not spell that right? Uh-oh, that's not right. Hold on. Let's try that again. Aykroyd. I don't know how to spell his name. Hold on 1 second. We'll get this information right. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I would not have guessed that. Aykroyd. There we go. We got there. Dan Aykroyd. Here we go. He was born on July 1st, 1952, in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So let's just take a look at some of his body of work, shall we? Of course, he started on SNL. Mostly known for Ghostbusters, too. But let's see what else he's done. Because I do love the Ghostbusters, except for Frozen Empire. But I talk about that in my worst movies of 2024. So you can watch that video if you're interested. Oh, did I pass it? I think I went too far. Hold on. Let's go back. Okay, here we go. See y'all. So we got that. Okay. Let's scroll down a bit. Yeah, he's also known for the Blues Brothers. That's right. That was an SNL skit too, I believe. He was in Coneheads. Great movie. Well, a lot of people criticize Ghostbusters too, but I like it. It's not as loved as the first one. Oh, too far. Go back a little bit. So, okay, his first job was actually the Beach Boys' It's Okay, a TV movie, and then he got on SNL. So, apologize for that. I was incorrect. And then Nothing But Trouble. We missed a bunch. Dragnet's pretty good. He was in 48 Hours, I believe. Maybe I'm thinking of another one. I know. Maybe I'm thinking of Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. This is all Ghostbuster stuff. Well, that's writer. Sorry. Let's go actor. Now it's making sense. Not producer, just writer. I mean, just actor. Here we go. Let's try this again. I thought that looked off. Oh, yeah, he was a cameo in The Simpsons. That's right. I forgot about that. He also stars as like a side character for a lot of Adam Sandler movies, like Pixels. There's one of them. Tammy's not bad. That's a Melissa McCarthy movie. The Campaign was pretty funny. Oh yeah, he was the voice of Yogi Bear in that remake. That remake was awful. Not gonna lie. Yeah, he was in Now I Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. Christmas with the Cranks. That's an annual Christmas watch in my house. 51st Dates. He plays the father. No, he plays the doctor. My bad. That's a really good movie. Evolution was good. Oh, I forgot he was in Pearl Harbor. He's done so many movies, it's easy to lose track. Loser was funny. No, I didn't know he was in Ants. I haven't seen that in a long time, though. Oh, he even guest starred in Home Improvement. That's cool. Oh, too far. Sergeant Bilko. That's a good one. Canadian Bacon. Classic. Tommy Boy's also a classic. He was in the My Girl movies. The first one, especially, is so sad. And it comes out of nowhere, too. Ghostbusters 2. Yeah, there it is. Caddyshack 2. I thought so. 88. Not as good as the first one, but I thought he was in that one. Dragnet. Classic. Spies Like Us. Oh, I didn't know he was in Indiana Jones. That's cool. Trading Places. There it is. 83. He was in that one. Okay. Confirmed. Of course, there's Blues Brothers, the original. 1941. That's a good one. So many good ones. So yeah, that's Dan Aykroyd's career. Oh, it looks like his first acting job was actually The Gift of Winter. 1974. So I'm corrected twice. Hey, thank you, IMDb. Okay, let's go back. Cool. So I have a few deaths I want to talk about too, but I'll get to that too because most of the cast of Jaws has passed away, unfortunately. But I'll take time to dedicate a little bit of time to them too later on. For now, let's get to the weekend box office update, shall we? So share the screen. Had a lot of technical issues last weekend, so hopefully things go smoother this week. I made some adjustments to the settings, so we'll see how it goes. Here we go. Last weekend was June 27th to the 29th. So it looks like number one at the box office last week was F1. It's opening weekend too, and it made $57 million. Wow, that's pretty impressive. It's in a good amount of theaters too, 3,661. Number two was How to Train Your Dragon, bumped from the number one spot, but it still made $19.5 million. Significant drop though, almost 50%. And it's still in 4,000 theaters, so it's got a good amount of money here. This is the third week it's been out. In third place was Elio with $10 million. This is the second weekend that it's out. So it's not really doing that good. It's only got 41.9 million. At number 4 was opening weekend for Megan 2.0. I don't know about this one. I don't really like how they kind of Terminator 2'd it, but we'll see how it goes. It made $10.2 million on 3,000 screens. That doesn't sound very high, especially for a movie like this, because I'm sure the budget's been increased. So again, we'll see how it goes. This is the first week out. Maybe word of mouth will help it pick up some steam. In fifth place, we got 28 Years Later. Last week it was number 2, so it dropped 3 spots. It made $9.7 million. Again, a significant drop. 67.5. Even Elio dropped half. So big drops this week. It's in 3,000 theaters, and it's made $50 million so far. So it's still doing pretty good for the franchise. I think it's the highest grossing in the box office so far. At number 6, we have Lilo and Stitch. So it's still going strong. $6.8 million. The drop wasn't that high for this one. It did lose a lot of theaters, though. Almost 500. But it's still in almost 3,000. And it's made $400 million so far. Holy crap. I didn't realize it made so much money. It's been out for 6 weeks, too, so it's still going strong. I'll make sure I check the international box office, too, see what's doing all over the world. Number 7 is Mission Impossible. It was in number 5 last week. So that one also dropped 2 spots. I still need to see this one. Hopefully I can still catch it. It made another $4.1 million. It's still in 2,000 theaters. It still made $186 million, which sounds impressive, but considering the budget and how much it costs to advertise, I don't think this one's going to make its money back. By now, it should have picked up steam. It should be more than that if it's going to be on track to make its money back. At number 8 is The Materialist. It was at number 6 last week, so it dropped 2 spots. It made $2.9 million. And again, another significant drop. There's a lot of big drops this week. I guess not as many people went to the theaters. It made $30 million so far out of 3 weeks. Number 9 is Ballerina. That's the John Wick spinoff. $2.1 million this week. And another significant drop. It's made $55.5 million. It's been out for 4 weeks. And then in 10th place is The Karate Kid, still holding strong. It made almost $1 million this week. Close. Another significant drop. It's not even in 1,000 theaters, so it's getting pulled out. Oh, it lost 1,000 theaters last week, actually. And it's made $51 million. So if you wanted to see this one in theaters, you might be running out of time. It's been out for 5 weeks. Or you could just be like me and wait for streaming. I guess most people did that. And just out of the top 10, we got Final Destination Bloodlines. Still going strong, though. That's the highest in the franchise. The Phoenicia Scheme is the new Wes Anderson flick. This one didn't even make $1 million. Life of Chuck is the Stephen King book adaptation. I think Michael Flanagan's behind it. Yeah, these are all significant theaters. We got Thunderbolts down at 15. Still going strong. It's only in 145 theaters. You're running out of time to see that too. So let's look at the international box office. Hold on, I'm just going to make sure I'm still rolling. All right, looks like things are going smoothly. Cool. Going back. This is domestic, so let's go international. Oh, no, wait, let's go worldwide. Yeah, okay. These are the highest grossing movies across the world this year so far. So we got Nisha 2 still holding strong. It's got almost $2 billion so far. Then we got a Minecraft movie. It looks like this one, I'm afraid to say it, it's not going to hit $1 billion. I thought it would. Looks like Lilo and Stitch might hit $1 billion before Minecraft, which is kind of sad. But hey, that's the way the world is now. Mission Impossible. Oh, okay, it's doing better than I thought. It's got almost $600 million worldwide. That's not bad. It might actually make its money back. Fifth is How to Train Your Dragon. It's got $471.9 million so far. This one might even make $1 billion. Who knows? Number 6 is Captain America: Brave New World. $415 million. Thunderbolts is right after that. 2 Marvel movies in a row. How about that? $381.9 million. Number 8 is Sinners, holding strong. I do recommend you see this one. I will do a video about Sinners eventually. It's really good. It's worth talking about. But anyways, it made $364.7 million so far. Number 9 is Final Destination Bloodlines, holding strong. It's got $284.2 million so far. And number 10 is F1. It's opening weekend. Holy crap, that's huge. So it's doing phenomenal. As you can see, it's made $237.4 million around the world so far. And then just out of the top 10 now is Snow White, Dogman, and Bridget Jones, of all things. How about that? 28 years later, it's at number 15. But it just came out not that long ago. So we'll see how that goes. Same with Ballerina. All right, so this concludes the weekend box office update. Very curious how the 4th of July weekend goes. But I'll talk about that next week. All right, I'm back. All right, let's get to the main event, shall we? Jaws. Dana. Everyone knows the song. Dana. Hold on. No, let's go like this. Not like this. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. That's how I did that. Cool. The 50th anniversary. Okay, making sure everything's in order. Cool. So, this movie came out in 1975. It was directed by Steven Spielberg. Hence the shirt. Sadly, I don't have a Jaws shirt, so let's go with the next best thing. It's still relative. It was written by Carl Gottlieb, and it was based on a novel of the same name by Peter Benchley. I'll get to him a little bit more in depth, too. Oh, yes, there will be nautical puns. And the cast includes Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. Sadly, like I was saying before, many of the cast has passed away. This includes Roy Scheider. He was born November 10th, 1932. And he passed away February 10th, 2008. So that's close to my birthday. I was born on November 9th. So he's a Scorpio like me. He was born in Orange, New Jersey, and he passed away in Little Rock, Arkansas. His cause of death was multiple myeloma. Melanoma? No, myeloma. Sorry if I butchered that. It's basically a staph infection after a near year 3 battle with cancer. He was 76. So may he rest in peace. I'm just going to say who they all are, and then we'll just do a moment of silence for everybody. Next is Robert Shaw. He was born August 9th, 1927, and he passed away August 28th, 1978. So just 3 years after this movie came out. He was born in West Houghton, United Kingdom. I don't know if I said that right, but sorry if I butchered that. And he died in Tormakety, Ireland, of a heart attack. He was just 51. Next is Murray Hamilton. He played the infamous mayor. He was born on March 24th, 1923, and he passed away September 1st, 1986, in Washington, North Carolina. Oh, he was born and both passed away in Washington, North Carolina. And his cause of death was lung cancer. He was 63. And then there was Susan Bacchini. She was the lady in the first scene, Jaws' first victim, Chrissy. She was born September 1st, 1946, and she passed away May 11th, 2004, just last year. And again, she was both born and passed away in Ventura, California. Her cause of death was a heart attack. She was 77. And then there was Peter Benchley, the author of the book. He was born May 8th, 1940, and he passed away February 11th, 2006. He was born in New York City, in New York State, New York, and passed away in Princeton, New Jersey. He died of pulmonary fibrosis. He was 65 years old. And last but not least, is an actress that had a small role, but it's such an important part that I'm almost embarrassed that I forgot to mention her before, because my girlfriend did all these lovely notes for me. Her name's Sabrina, so thank you for your help. I appreciate that, organizing the information and getting it out to me. But there's also Lee Fierro. She played Mrs. Kintner. I can never say that right. She was born February 13th, 1929 in New York, and she passed away on April 5th, 2020. And she passed away of COVID, unfortunately. She passed away in Ohio, but I couldn't find out where. And she has this phenomenal scene, but I'll get to that too. She's like the heart of the movie. So, I'm not just going to do a review. I'm going to talk about some behind-the-scenes information, and then I'm also going to talk about some fun facts about sharks too, because this led to a genuine fear of sharks. And a lot of people that made this movie actually came to regret how they made sharks, they villainized sharks the way that they did. So they did a lot of work, especially the author, Benchley. But yeah, we'll get to all this. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? So, summer. Picture this. Summer 1975. We have a rubber shark. We have a rookie director. And we have a film where everything that could go wrong did go wrong when it comes to production. It got so bad that the crew even started to wear t-shirts that said the shark is not working, because that's what took so long. So I call this video Jaws, a deep dive into the nautical nightmare. So the opening scene is what I consider one of the most terrifying scenes put to film when it comes to horror movies. It starts with Chrissy, who I mentioned before. She gets yanked around by some unseen force before getting pulled under the water. And the reason why this scene works so well is because of the realism behind it. The way they did it was they had 5 crew members on each side of her, and she was on this pulley system. But she didn't know when she was going to get pulled either direction. So her reactions of fear are genuine. And Spielberg does this trick too, where he shoots from underneath the person swimming, and he slowly zooms in as it's going up to represent the shark's point of view. And he uses that as kind of this alternate way to show the shark without actually showing the shark. In a lot of ways, the shark not working turned out to be a blessing. This also set the tone of the film too. This wasn't going to be some comical, cheesy monster movie. No, no, no. This was more of a serious horror movie. That score too. But the thing is though, you hear the score in the beginning, but when the action's going on, the score is used minimally. It's mainly ambient noises and just Chrissy screams. You can hear her struggle. So you got the fear of the unknown and you got the fear of drowning too. Two primal fears I'm pretty sure most people have, if not all. So you can see how this could grab people's attention. So they didn't have one mechanical shark. They were actually using 3 mechanical sharks. And they were built by a guy named Bob Matley. Sorry, Matty. And previously he had worked on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He made the giant mechanical squid. So they had one shark that was just the left side that was open with all the gear showing on the other side. They had a shark that was just the right side, and they had one that was fully skinned. That's the one that you see coming up out of the boat. And like one of the most famous scenes. Actually, speaking of that, let's get to IMDb, shall we? Maybe I can play some clips here. So we'll remove this, and let's add stage. Can I go in the corner? Yeah, cool. Let's go to IMDb. Then I can pull up screenshots and stuff too, so you can really get a good sense of what I'm saying. Oopsie. I can spell. Jaws. Oh. Silly me. 1 second. I just realized I didn't do the moment of silence. So can we please have a moment of silence for the cast and the author who's not with us anymore? I read them over, but I forgot to do the moment of silence. I do apologize for that. So let's do that moment of silence now. Thank you. May the people that worked on Jaws and made it possible rest in peace. You won't be forgotten. And again, I do apologize. I should have did that before. So let's get into the review and some behind the scenes stuff. Let's go down here again. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna let this play. There's the shot I was talking about. Seeing the shark's point of view looking up at the swimmer. And then she comes out of the water. She gets pulled around. She gets pulled down. She's actually self-dunking herself there. She's the stunt woman. So she did all that stuff herself. Like she actually got in the water. She actually got pulled around. I give her a lot of credit. Stunt work is not easy work. So like I was saying, they had 3 sharks. One was the left side, one was the right side, and one was the whole shark. But the problem is they didn't test it in salt water before they started using it for the movie. So it had all kinds of mechanical issues. It was short circuiting, it was starting to rust. So many issues. Let's look at this poster, shall we? Can I make that bigger? No? Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Okay, here we go. That's fine. There we go. Yeah, cool. But yeah, it didn't go well with the sharks in the water. I mean, things were getting way too corroded. They had to find a way around it. In fact, it's well documented that Steven Spielberg joked that it was like directing, quote, National Geographic, but it was a special from hell, end quote. And it wasn't just the shark that caused problems. Hold on, maybe I can find pictures of this mechanical shark. I'm sure they have them. Just to give you a better sense of what it looked like. Because they had the shark on a crane that was about 30 feet, like it could lift it 30 feet up. Maybe I just got pictures here. Let's go. Hold on. Go back. Yeah, okay. Here's some stills of the actors. Oh, there's Chrissy there. We want the shark. Oh, there's a picture of one. You see the crane there. You can see that one's the fully developed one, the whole shark. There it is in the water. There it is being lifted. I know they have pictures of the crane. There's some underwater cameras. Oh, there's Chrissy again in a black and white photo. Where is the mechanical shark? There's a pretty good picture of it being lifted up. You can really see it there. These are all stills from the movie. Hold on, let's go here. I'm just gonna make sure I'm still on live. Looks like I'm still good. Okay, going back. So let's see. Where is that shark? There's that photo again. Down. More. Here we go. This is where we were. A little further. We'll find it. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna look for it. Oh, here it is. There it is. Aha, I found it. So the arm goes all the way down 30 feet, and it lifts the shark up in the air like that. It gives it that more realistic look. The sharks do leap out of the water like that. I know there's better pictures though. So I'm just gonna do Jaws animatronic. Let's get some images. There it is. See, the one side's open, and you can see all the mechanical parts. And then there's the actual crane arm there. Oh, hold on, hold on. Oh, what happened? Okay, not sure what happened there. Okay. There it is. You can see it better there. There's another picture there. Not sure what happened to that picture I was just looking at though. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. So yeah, you can see the mechanical arm, and you can see the shark on it. We got there. All right, so let's go back. Let's just go to IMDb. And back to Jaws. Not sponsored. Go away. Okay, here we go. Back to Jaws. I'm just gonna let that play. Not sponsored. Go away. Okay, where was I? Actually, I want to make sure I'm still going live. Looks like we're still good. Okay, cool. Awesome. Last week it kept cutting out, so I kept having to go back and repeat stuff. And I'm still working on redoing that video. So because of that, there was also something else. The boat. The boat in the movie is called the Orca. No, that picture I did see right away. This one. But when they were filming it, there was a scene where it nearly sank unintentionally before it was supposed to. So the film that they used, it actually got, like, it went into the water. So it got soaked in the salt water. So they had to ship the canisters over to New York City, like, as fast as they could, so they could salvage it in a chemical bath. Otherwise, the footage that they filmed would have been useless. All that work would have been for nothing. So, with the shark sidelined, Spielberg had no choice but to suggest terror instead of showing it on screen. So he couldn't use the shark as much. But in a way, that was kind of a blessing, like I was saying before, because less is more. And I keep saying time and time again in, like, modern horror movies how they show the monster too much. And a lot of those directors can learn from this film. What was the solution? He did the POV shots. He did clever blocking and framing when it comes to setting up his shots. And that legendary score, which is kind of a character itself, because whenever you hear the score, you see that POV, you know the shark is there. He even uses the yellow barrels. Originally, those barrels, toward the end of the movie, they were supposed to be for where the shark was supposed to be, like where to look at and where it was going to rise up. So it became a stand-in for the shark instead. Oh, let's go to this poster. There we go. That classic poster. So, in essence, Steven Spielberg turned these limitations into suspense builders. Now that is pure movie magic. Behind the scenes, there was some drama between the actors, too. More specifically, between Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss. Robert Shaw was a classically trained, wildly unpredictable actor, and he was a heavy drinker. And Richard Dreyfuss was young, energetic, and methodical. So they clashed constantly. At one point, Shaw even challenged Dreyfuss to climb the ship's mast and jump off of it. So Dreyfuss did it just to shut him up. Spielberg once said, and I quote, "When Robert Shaw was drunk, he couldn't remember his lines. When he was sober, he couldn't stand Dreyfuss." End quote. So during production, let's see if I can get a picture of him. I'm sure he's here. Steven Spielberg learned a lot of hard lessons when it comes to filmmaking. I'm not sponsored. Go away. Where is he? Here he is. Spielberg is easily one of my all-time favorite directors. There he is. Let's try that again. There we go. So yeah, when he was hired on for this, he was only 27 years old. He used a combination of long lenses to compress space, and he uses this waterline shot just on the water's edge to make you feel like you're treading water, like you're in the water with the rest of the cast members and all the extras and everything. In fact, I think it's like 25% of the film is shot at this water level shot to make it to make you feel like you're in the water too. He literally wanted to submerge the audience to that level. Submerge the audience. Sorry, I misspoke. And then, of course, there's the most iconic shot in the scene, in the movie, that Dolly's doing on Brody's face with the rising dread. Let's see if I can find it. I'm sure that'll be in the preview. Let's just let that go. So, in a lot of ways, Jaws is more than just a horror movie. It's a masterclass in tension, framing, and Hitchcockian precision. It's all about suspense over surprise. Suspense is always better, in my opinion. See this Brody there waiting for it? There it is. Oh, not advertised. Hold on, it'll do that again. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah. Back a little. Here it is. There it is. There. Hold on. Let's try that again. There it is. There. It's quick, but it's effective. So we used all these things to substitute the shark. That's why it was kind of a blessing in disguise. He learned the hard way that maybe less is more. See if they have a better trailer. These are just clips. Okay, that's fine. Okay, no problem. Let's just go back. Let that play again. There we go. So, originally, Universal set up a December release around Christmas time for Jaws. But because the production got pushed so far back, they had to release it in the summer. It took 3 times as long to film, and it cost double the amount. So they started shooting in May, and they're supposed to end in like June, but they ended up going to September instead. So there was no way they're going to make that December deadline. And all this was mainly because the shark didn't work, and they had to find ways to work around it. Let's go back to that poster. There we go. Perfect. So when it opened up, it was released on 409 screens. At the time, that was the widest release for any movie. And thanks to a budget of about $700,000 for TV and advertising campaign, it grossed it made $7 million its opening weekend. Its worldwide total was $470 million, and of that in the U.S. it made 67 million. The reason it was called a blockbuster is because people were actually lined up down the block and around the corner. They busted the block. Get it? And ever since then, the term gets kind of stuck. So you can thank that movie for that term. Sure, movies made a lot of money, but nothing like that before. People were just lining up to see it. Everyone had to see it. This is the time before streaming services, too. The internet just wasn't a thing. So I'm just going to check for 1 second to make sure I'm still streaming. Okay, it looks pretty good. Still streaming. So this caused a lot of negative impact in the shark world too, because people were so afraid of them. But the irony is, sharks rarely attack humans, especially great whites. Peter Benchley, who wrote the novel, has later stated, before he passed away, how much he's regretted that fear that he caused, the misconception that sharks are dangerous. So after the movie came out, he became a lifelong marine conservationist. He was trying to help the shark population, which I think is really cool. He was trying to give back to the shark community, so to speak. So let's go back to me real quick. Here's a fun fact for you. Which fruit is more lethal than sharks? I'll give a little time for you to answer. The answer is coconuts. Pop culture has trained people to fear sharks, but in reality, sharks are less dangerous than coconuts falling randomly off trees. In fact, coconuts kill 30 times more people annually per year than sharks. By comparison, coconuts are more lethal. They're more dangerous than sharks are. Can you believe it? Let's go back to IMDb. I'll just let that sink in. And if you ever tried to open a coconut before, you know how hard it is to do. So I believe it. So let's talk about this poster. The poster was actually the original artwork for the novel. It was drawn by Roger Castell. His inspiration came from a visit that he did to the Natural History Museum. But instead of selling the rights to the artwork, he gave it away to Universal for free. And ever since then, he spoke out publicly about how he's regretted that. So that means he never got any royalties from the movie, or the merchandise, or anything. He just gave it away. And this is probably one of the most iconic posters of all time, too. I mean, it says it all. This is all you need to know about the movie. Giant shark is attacking people trying to swim in the ocean. And you can see the bubbles here. It's kind of subtle, but you can see this thing's moving quick. Speaking of that, I got another fun fact for you. Here I am. Ooh, did I forget to do that. Okay. I think I forgot to share the screen there, but that's okay. So yeah, I have another fun fact for you. The poster. Well, let's talk about this poster. Head to the stage. Put me down here. I don't think that recorded. I think I was not sharing the screen. The poster was the original artwork for the novel, too. And it was drawn by Roger Castell. His inspiration came from a visit that he did to the Natural History Museum. However, instead of selling the rights to the artwork to Universal Studios, he just gave it away for free. And he's regretted it ever since, because that means he never got any royalties off of any of the posters or any of the merchandise, the video covers, nothing. He didn't see any of that. Then again, who knew it would become such an iconic movie? And that really withholds the test. That really holds up to the test of time. Still good. Okay, cool. And this poster says it all too. It's got the shark going after people in the ocean, and that's all you really need to know about the movie. You can see how fast it's going too, with the bubbles on the sides. So I've got another fun fact for you. Do you know how fast a shark can swim? I'll give you a minute. It can go up to 60 kilometers an hour. I just wanted to make sure I got it right. I thought that's what it was. Just double checking. So, there's one scene in particular, the attack of Alex Kintner. I can never say that right. But little Alex. This was very controversial at the time. Because Universal was hesitant to have a kid be killed on screen. But still, Spielberg and the producers were adamant that it was important for the story just to show that nobody was safe from this shark. Which I have to agree with. It makes it more realistic that way. See if I can find a picture of that scene. But I'm not sponsored. Let's just go down a bit. A little bit more. A little bit more. There's the barrels I was talking about. That's fine. Let's go back. Just bear with me. Hold on. Maybe they'll have a little clip. No sound. Oh, that's not it. Okay, let's close this. Close this. Let's stick with Josh, shall we? Let's try this one. Oh, wait, this is the one I just did? Yeah, I think this is the one I just did. Oh, well. Maybe it'll show little clips. There's that scene. Right, you see the crane there. So let's see if I can just pull it up on YouTube. Jaws clips. Because really it helps to show the scene. Here we go. No sound. Hold on. Get out of the water. Here we go. So just let that play like that. Now this scene has a lot going for it, and it's a great example of how to build suspense. Spielberg is the master of the bait and switch technique. In filmmaking, this refers to the narrative method, where the audience is initially led to believe one thing, only for a significantly different outcome to occur. And this revelation usually happens a bit later on in the story. So you can really feel Brody's anxiety as it switches focus between different people. And if different people try talking to him, he's just trying to pay attention to what's going on inside the water there. So there's a middle-aged woman floating on her back. There's a dog. You have little Alex. You have Brody's kids. And then you have a couple that's horsing around. So it's all about which one is going to be attacked first. So the first time you see this, it's truly shocking to find out who it is. But it's not revealed until you see the shark's point of view. And you get that musical cue with that dolly zoom I was talking about before. So you can see there's the different people there. There's the point of view. It really is a masterclass in filmmaking. And then here it is. That's that shot I was talking about. the shark point of view, and then boom, you see him getting attacked. You see him flailing. And there's that dollar zoom I was talking about. All right, that's enough of that. I just don't want to get copyright claimed or anything. Okay, I'm just gonna check to make sure I'm still good. All right, still good. Let's go back to that poster. So there's a lot of reasons that makes it another iconic scene. Another thing too is that the town of Amity really feels like it's been lived in for a long time. There's a real sense of community there too. It's a small town where everybody knows each other, and you can feel that. And then there's the last half of the movie, which is basically the voyage. It's very reminiscent of Moby Dick. Oh, I forgot to mention, before I get to that, it's funny too how Brody, the main character, has aquaphobia, a fear of water, and he lives on the island. It really accentuates the theme of facing your fears. Accentuates, sorry. And I like how John Williams' score resembles a heartbeat too. Very smart. Yeah, that last half of the movie is incredible. It's just after that 4th of July scene when Brody's kids narrowly get attacked and that random boater gets killed. That's when the mayor finally clues in and says, okay, enough's enough. We got to get this thing before more people suffer. His kids were out there too, so they could have been victims. So the mayor finally comes around. He's often mocked in other movies as being like the villain that you don't want to be. Because hey, it's all about greed. He didn't want to lose the money on 4th of July weekend. That was really his breaking point. But the last half of this movie, a lot happens. Because throughout the movie, well, actually it kind of starts here, but Hooper and Quint, they have this rivalry. And they come to terms with each other as they compare scars and they earn each other's respect. And then Robert Shaw gives this great monologue about the USS Indianapolis. Originally, it said in the script it was supposed to be like 10 pages long, but they cut it down to 5. It tells the story of how after the ship sank, the people that were stranded in the water became victims to all these sharks. It really is a devastating story. It's this intense long take as he slowly tells more about what happens about this disaster. And you can see the expressions on both the other characters' faces about how they can't even imagine what it was like to go through this. And it really justifies why Quint has this revenge for sharks. He's got this grudge against them. It's a beautifully filmed scene. But shortly after that, they have the final showdown. And then Quint gets one of the most brutal deaths in the whole movie when Jaws comes up and chomps him in half, and it shows everything too. It's shocking, especially the first time you see it, especially back then because it's so unexpected. You think he'd be the last person to die. That's why the sink was. That's why the ship was supposed to sink. And here's another fun fact for you: the iconic line "We're going to need a bigger boat" was actually improvised. It wasn't in the original script. Scheider thought of it. And then there's this running gag that I love about his biggest concern. His biggest concern is trying to get a bigger boat. So I'm just going to make sure that we're still live. Yeah, we are. Cool. And then, of course, you got the iconic moment when he shoots the tank, which is foreshadowed, by the way. It's shown early on when Brody's doing his shark research, which I love how it takes time to show him actually researching sharks so we can understand what he's going after. He's an intellectual like that. Not that many heroes in movies have that side shown this way. And then when they get on the boats, too, Hooper also tells them that the air tanks are explosive and to watch out. But yeah, really briefly, when he's going through his pages, you can see there's a shark in a shark with a tank in his mouth. Very subtle foreshadowing. I love it. It's one of those things you don't notice the first couple of times you watch it. And I love how after the shark explodes, it shows Hooper and Brody swimming back to shore during the credits, way off in the distance. So if you're not looking closely, you might not notice that. And I got another fun fact for you. Let's go back to me. There we go. The Cocker Spaniel that's featured in the movie early on as the Brody's family dog was actually Steven Spielberg's dog. His name was Elmer. So every time he's looking off at the camera, he's actually looking at his daddy, if you're thinking about it. That's really cute. So, overall, this movie is about facing your fears, it's about isolation, it's about facing adversity, it's about facing your own hubris, and it has that existential crisis about man versus nature, the internal and external conflict of trying to control an uncontrollable force. And what happens when man loses? So, for all these reasons, the shark may have been fake, but the fear that this movie caused has been real. It ended up winning Oscars for sound, editing, and best score. And the editor, okay, let's just take a look at that real quick. Because I keep forgetting her name, but it's important to mention her. Because editors don't get enough credit. Down a little more. All casting crew. Did I go too far? I might have went too far. Okay, hold on. There it is, Verna Fields. Here's a picture of her. That's actually a good picture. She edited the movie. She won an Oscar for it. So yeah, I just wanted to show that picture. Cool. It's also about corruption and greed, too. But once things get taken too far during the 4th of July celebration, that's when the mayor really starts to come around. He realizes he should have done what he did. He learned his lesson. So here's a fun fact for you. Over 67 million people in the U.S. went to see Jaws when it was originally released in 1975. That's just under a third of the country's total population at that time. That's crazy. I got some more shark facts for you, too. Do you know which Disney character was named after a Jaws character? I'll give you a minute. It was the character Bruce from Finding Nemo, the shark. And the shark, the mechanical shark from the Jaws movie, the movie Jaws, was named after Steven Spielberg's lawyer. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but he's still his lawyer today. His name is Bruce Raymer, or Raymer. Sorry if I butchered that. But yeah, aside from Finding Nemo, countless films have referenced Jaws. Some of them include Airplane, Caddyshack, Back to the Future 2, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, and even Piranha 3D. Kevin Smith loves Jaws. That's why he keeps referencing it in his movies. Here's a question for you. Can sharks see in the dark? Yes. Sharks generally have excellent vision in low light conditions. Because of this, they can see sort of the similar way that a cat can see in the dark. They also have this sixth sense, so to speak, which allows them to sense electrical impulses inside of the water, which is good for hunting hidden prey. True or false? Great white sharks have a poor sense of smell. False. Great white sharks have such a strong sense of smell that they can detect a colony of seals from 2 miles away. They can also sense a single drop of blood in 100 liters of water. That's insane. Do you know how great white sharks prefer to hunt? They're mainly solitary hunters, and they usually position themselves underneath suspecting prey and ambush from below. So the way they depict it in the movie is actually accurate. They just don't always attack people. So what do sharks eat? They eat fish like tuna, mackerel. They also like crustaceans like mollusks, and they eat marine animals like seals and sea lions. Often when they attack people, it's because the way they see the person on like a surfboard or a raft, to them it would look like a sea lion or a seal. So a lot of times the shark attacks are by mistake. That's why they usually a bite and then they let go and then they go away. So, which marine mammal is a predator to great white sharks? Orcas, aka killer whales. They're one of the few species that prey on sharks. True or false? Sharks don't have bones. True. Their skeletons are made of cartilage, which is lighter and it's more flexible. Do you know how you can tell a shark's age? Scientists can tell the age of the shark depending on the rings on the vertebrae. The vertebrae contains these concentric pairs of opaque and translucent bands, and the bands are counted like they would for a tree. So, depending on the number of bands, is how many years a shark has been alive. And great whites can live between 40 to 70 years old. 40 to 70 years old. So, if you do like Jaws, or if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But if you like Jaws, I also recommend Alien from 1979. I recommend Deep Blue Sea from 1999. The Meg from 2018 is really good. Then there's Crawl from 2019. That's an alligator movie, but it's about a father and daughter that are trapped in this crawl space during a hurricane when the alligators take over this Florida town, which actually happens in real life. So it's a really scary movie, and it's really good. You can really see the inspirations from Jaws in that movie. And I also recommend Nope from 2022. You can see the inspiration throughout these films that these people grew up watching Jaws and put it into their movies. So those are a few recommendations. And on a more personal matter, I have fond memories watching this movie with my dad and my sister and my brother growing up. At the time, too, it was hard for me because we actually lived by the ocean. So I was afraid to go into the water for the longest time. And then I had these irrational fears, like Jaws was going to come into the pool somehow, or Jaws was going to come up through the pipes in the bathtub and get me in the tub somehow. Like, I was so afraid. And I've also got fond memories of visiting Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, and experiencing that ride while it was still running. And yes, it terrified me. That was like 2002. So I was still older, but still, it felt like you're in the movie, and it is scary. So, my official grade for Jaws is an extra, extra, extra large popcorn. In fact, I'm even gonna give it my seal of approval as one of Mr. Flickster's top 20 greatest movies of all time. Ta-da! Congratulations, Jaws. 50 years. And remember, it's okay to go overboard if you're a Jaws fin addict. So this concludes my Jaws episode. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. That about wraps it up for me tonight. I will see you next time.
Next time.
I'll see you at
Hold on. Full screen.
So, until next time.
I'll see you at the movies.
Have a great day.
Did you know that I'm a film critic for HorrorBuzz.com? You can read my reviews on their website, and I make frequent appearances on their YouTube channel, HorrorBuzz Live. So I'll leave links below for that too. Hope you have a good night. I'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bye for now.